baby. Take off when you kill your fly. If you're out there, baby, if you got TV service by now, God bless you.
Well, we're on the subject of stories. You actually told one last year at the Ohio Comic Con that just freaking slayed me. And it was about when you were young Indiana Jones and you got lost in the river or whatever. And I have told that story so many times, but I don't do it justice, so I didn't film it last time. I was hoping I could this time. So if you could wait until I sit down until you start. Could you do that? Will you do that?
Could I do what?
Will you wait until I sit down to start? Did you hear me?
You wanted for me to tell you about getting tossed in the river?
Yes, that one. Okay, hold on, wait.
I'll give you the brief one. I'll give you the brief one because we gotta go.
Okay.
We were filming the Channel River. Young Indiana Jones was I got a passport to go and do that. I mean, I'm from Texas. I never left the country or anything like that. So when I say we were coordinates, like we landed in Nairobi, we took twin otter aircrafts, did a low altitude pass and coordinates in the Congo to get the gazelles out of the way, landed, and we took to a land cruise another 3 hours from the Tana River, took canoes from the Tana all the way to the Indian Ocean for about another 3 hours, and lived in tents for 2 months. Sensory deprivation. The sun went down at 6 o'clock. The moon's the biggest thing I'd ever seen on the equator. Everybody says you get tropic. You know, you're right on the tropic cancer, you kind of lose your mind. True. Some of the shit that I wrote when I was on the tropic cancer, I look back at and I'm like, fucking wow, that shit would get me committed. And one day we're shooting on the Tana River. We had a steamer, a period steamer. It's a 1918 steamer. And I'm on there with a bunch of Maasai Mara that can't swim. And I got to meet him. There was a Mara. His name was Dai. And I taught him hacky sack and everything else, and they shared a number of wonderful things with me that I still possess to this day. Like Ethiopian crosses that, when you're 17, you have to go out and you have to kill a lion with a spear. And when you do that, you take your Ethiopian cross, which is your family crest, and you get blood, you brand your woman, and that's their marriage. And so I got 5 of those, and I traded 2 cassette tapes and about a month worth of batteries and a Walkman. Jimi Hendrix smash kits and Led Zeppelin remasters. And I'll tell you, one of the most magical things I've ever seen in my life, whenever they put the headphones on, and these guys live in coordinates, I can't stress that enough. They've never seen TV, they've never seen the white man before, and I really had a great time trading life information with these guys. The first time I put headphones on, it was like, you could see the magic of the first time that there was music coming out of these little things that they put in their ear. I had a little laptop and I'd shoot things on video. And I shot a fire one night and showed them, and they didn't want to touch the screen because they thought it was hot. Magical things like that. And so we're all on the ship together, on the steamer. We kept making a U-turn in the Tana River. Now I'll tell you, every time we took canoes to go to the set, there's hippos, most territorial animal known to man. Everybody thinks, oh, I'm scared of sharks. Fucking hippo will rip your fucking ass apart. I tell you, all of the mothers out there, you're afraid of these dudes that are jacked and tan and swole with roids. No, be afraid of a fucking mother. You touch their kid, they will fucking unleash terror on their ass. A hippo has the capacity of the roided up dude, but the attitude of a protected mother. They will fuck you up. All you do going down the Tana River is these eyes looking at you as you're drunk. 2 eyes out of the water, just staring at you. I knew they were big brothers with fucking Tony Stewart NASCAR jackets. And there was crocodiles on the banks everywhere. So we're shooting on the Tana River, which is about as wide as this auditorium, maybe 50 yards. We kept making a U-turn. The tide was going down. And on the Tropic of Cancer, it's a very still water, so Bill Hartsey is in the water. It's a microorganism that will get in your bloodstream and kill you pretty quickly. So we weren't to touch the water at all. So we're making U-turns. The tide's going down. I can feel the hull touching the sandbar. And every time we turn, it would start to tilt, and then swing loose and we'd make a U-turn. And I'm telling the guys, I'm like, guys, I think we're gonna capsize if we keep going. Sun's going down, we do it again. It's even more. It breaks loose and we make a U-turn. They're like, we need to get this shot. I'm like, it's gonna go upside down, guys. We do it again. Sure enough, we do it again. Go. It starts to go. I run up the side, grab the railing, and I run on the bottom of the boat as it flips over. Dai is hanging onto the boat, petrified out of his life. I've never seen somebody hug for their life as much as a newborn to their mother. I'll skip the story about me going over him to save him, and then obviously I was a lifeguard as a kid, and it's funny how all that goes out the window whenever you're trying to help somebody and you realize that they're just trying to push you under to get their mouth up. But anyway, so the camera boat comes screaming by after Dai's already on the top of the boat, and I'm drifting down through the tide. Camera boat goes, oh, and I'm like, oh, then they see me. Because there's hippos, crocs everywhere looking at me. And sure enough, when it went upside down, all the crocs into the water. My balls were somewhere up in my neck searching for water. If I had answered something and it sounded like, I'm cruising down the water, and I'm like, thank God, the camera boat's coming. And they're coming, I'm like, God, they're going to get here. Whoa, right fucking by me. I'm like, fuck you, motherfuckers. And they're going after the capsized ship. And I'm starting to drift down. Crocs are in the water, hips are starting to scuffle, scared fucking shitless. They get dye and everything, and finally somebody scalps me. They turn around and they come and get me out of the water. They blood test and everything else. They probe me, they prod me, stick things in every orifice to make sure that I wasn't going to die in 10 minutes. Not because they cared about me, because they were invested in shooting the episode. They didn't want to have to recast the footage. One of the most horrific things I've ever experienced in my life. But I'll tell you, that's one of the life experiences that taught me one of the most. It was a bonding experience for a lot of the guys who were on that boat. None of these guys knew how to swim. And I learned a lot about croc evasion and hippo attacks and whatnot. And I'll tell you, whenever I got into the boat, and it's a camera boat, it's literally a canoe. It's about 10 feet long, wide, with a tripod and 2 cameras facing both directions. When I got in and we're driving away, you hear click-clink, and it would go side, click-clink. What's that? And the guy's like, those are crocs that were hidden. It was like they come into the water. I was like, oh my Lord. This was one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. And I guarantee you that I escaped death by a millimeter and a thread. I tell you, man, part of my hair goes up even recalling that story. Because I didn't sleep well for a couple of nights. Scary, 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 scary. The double side of scary sermons, that scary wins that one. Scary. We got time for a couple more. Oh, we got one more. Quick one. Who's got it? Yes.
Cliff, what was it like working on Capote?
It was a heavy process. You know, we did 2 weeks of rehearsal. Philip, rest in peace. We, you know, when you invest in, as you know, Sean, when you invest in that kind of a role, you really get naked with your demons and you let them kind of dance together. So it's a crazy bond. You know, we have bonds with Boondocks, you know, which is on a whole other level. But when you do something that's that dramatic, you know, it's both rewarding and painful at the same time. I had a lot of breakdowns prepping. You know, real quick before I started shooting, Chris Cooper had asked me, we were having a dinner at the producer's house, and he was like, "Hey, son," he goes, "I wanted to ask you how you're doing with this role." And I'd stopped drinking and smoking for a while so I could get in touch with my bullshit. And, you know, Chris was drinking a glass of wine, and I said, I was really embarrassed. I looked up, Mr. Chris Cooper, I don't like him. You know, and I said, honestly, Chris, I'm having quite a few breakdowns, bro. You know, I was really kind of ashamed, truth told. And then he kind of looked down at his plate and fumbled with a little piece of lettuce and took a beat, and then he looked at me and he says, "Well, son," he goes, "this is the kind of role you're supposed to have breakdowns on." I said, "Cool, I think I'll have a drink now." And that was it. So it was, you know, I miss him. It was a beautiful film.
Guys, an amazing performance, too. If you haven't seen him in Capote, check it out. Look it on Netflix. It's an amazing performance and a killer film. The guy cracked it out of the park on that, seriously. Oh, of course, man. Listen, guys, we got to go. Let me just say this, and I think I speak for everybody else. Connecticut. Guys, you know, when you do film, there's no reciprocal current of energy. You know, when you do theater, you tell a joke, people laugh. When you do something emotional, you get the feedback immediately. When you do film, you don't get that. So when you come to these events, this is our opportunity to really chat with you guys and see what you really thought about things that we did. We all understand that it's not real jobs. I've certainly had real jobs, and this is something that we do for free. Don't tell the producers what we would. And it's an honor, and it's very humbling to come into a room that's filled up with just people that want to talk about what you did, that you would have done for free anyway. I know that we're in the most expendable industry known to man. I know in an economic crisis, we're the first people to get unemployed. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I think I speak for everybody. It is an honor and a privilege. God bless.